So you sift through the contrast and you know what you don't want, which causes you to know what you do want. And we're not even talking about the words that you speak, like I'm sick and I want to be well, or I don't have enough money and I want more money. Sure, that's all part of it. But we're talking about the in the moment experiences that you have all day, every day, where more just erupts for you, where the newer idea comes. It comes to you all day, every day, and it is born out of the contrast that you are living, because contrast is what causes all of us to be able to focus. Without contrast, you could not even see with your eyes. Without contrast, you could not distinguish sounds. Without contrast, there could not be vocabulary or communication. Without contrast, you could not sensually feel with your fingertips or taste with your tongue. Everything about your experience is a vibrational contrasting experience, and it is the focusing of that contrast that gives you the moment of perception in the moment that you are perceiving. In other words, focus is what it's all about. So here you are, leading edge consciousness out here, focusing on variety, knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want, and sending off these rockets of desire, not just the words you speak as you make your statements or your goals, or you pray your prayers for solutions, but you are asking, sending these rockets out, and the source within you, the non-resistant, always ready, up to speed, who you were before you came, but always up to speed with who you've become, inner being part of you, receives the fullness of each and every new request and becomes it completely. Not later, not sooner or later, now, right now, becomes it immediately. So when you're sick and you ask for wellness, the source within you, the vibrational part of you that precedes all manifestations, becomes weller than you were before you were sick, richer than you were before you realized you didn't have enough money, clearer than you were before you were confused. In other words, the contrast causes that part of you to focus into leading edge experience. So now, how did that go? I was source energy. I came into sharper focus in my physical experience and focused into beingness, something that source now immediately became. So you caused leading edge, and source now holds leading edge for you to catch up with the leading edge that you caused. See how it works? Now, because you caused the leading edge, if you don't catch up, you're going to feel the deprivation of not keeping up with the leading edge that you caused. See how it works? So anytime you feel less than good, it's because you caused an expansion which the larger part of you is holding, but the physical part of you is holding back temporarily. And why are you holding back? Because you're so excited about what is, you can't take your eyes off of it. You seem to be excited about it even when you hate it. You seem to be excited about it even when you don't like it, even when it's not serving you. And you know why we think you are excited about it even though it's not serving you? Because it's what you talk about mostly. Look where I am. See how I feel. Shine a spotlight on me right now. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Is there an online chat group that I could join with others who are standing right here where I am? And we say, yeah, there is. There is. They'll all come and complain with you. So we don't mean to make it sound as if we think everything that you're focusing on is not pleasing to you. However, when you're focusing upon something in your what is that is pleasing to you, that means that your inner being, that the source within you, that the non-physical part of you, that the Abraham within you, that the source within you, that the God within you, whatever you want to call that part of you that is non-physically focused, is in you, that part is joining you in that thought. So there's no separation. In other words, when you're loving someone, source is right there with you. When you are appreciating, when you are looking for positive aspects, when you are reveling in the beauty of something, there's no separation because source is right there with you. Now, when you really get the fullness of that which is you, then you can begin reveling in your moments. It's fun interacting with you because you, even as individuals, are at various stages of allowing and resisting. In other words, sometimes you're in a moment where you are really allowing the fullness of who you are, and sometimes you're not. And we want you to understand that it doesn't matter whether you are or are not completely allowing the fullness of who you are in any moment, because there's always another moment in which you can do that. We want you to remember that the source within you is always focused upon the solution. Always focused upon the solution. So anytime you're asking the question again or focused upon the problem again, you are separating yourself to some degree from the solution that is already solutioned. In other words, it's already done. There will be a lot of new words today. Write them all down. After all, this is the leading edge. That old dictionary, past tense. So when you start utilizing the contrast of your physical life in the way that you really meant to, in this open-ended, eagerly and willing to participate in life at its fullest, out here on the leading edge, leading edge, on the leading edge, on the bloody leading edge. When you're out here on this leading edge, you're going to be offering a tremendous amount of expansion all day, every day. Every moment is producing some of it for you. And the better you keep up with it, the better you feel. But if you don't keep up with it, there's just going to be a joyous reunion when you do keep up with it. In other words, the solution feels good no matter when it comes. And you have the ability to always find the solution. You're calling the shots here. In other words, you are the creator of your experience. You are the creator of your experience. And you have so much resourceful source backup. You have the energy that creates worlds pouring through you, but you've got to be in a vibrational place that allows it to flow to you and through you in order for that to happen. Did you feel yourself moving into new places of insight? And do you feel more at one with where you are? That is the most important thing that we are wanting you to take away from this. We want you to revel in the manifestations that you are living while you do a little bit more deliberate job of selectively sifting, because there's so much in your powerful now that will enhance your relationship with your vortex, while there is some in your powerful now that does not enhance your relationship with your vortex. So use your now only to enhance your relationship with your vortex, and otherwise just let your dominant intent be to be feeling as good as you can feel. In other words, don't ask the manifestation to shift, just care about feeling good. We've had enough discussions here today, and you've watched enough shifting in all of this, and we've offered you the best process for doing real vortex work in this specifically negative, generally positive, and then specifically positive. This is a tool that you can really work with if you're standing in a place where there's something in your now that is keeping you from feeling good. If there are many things in your now, if your now is just full of wonderful things that are feeling good, then just acknowledge them and talk about them and revel in them. In other words, if you're feeling good, be specific, be specific, be specific, be specific, be specific. The more specific you can be while you are feeling good, the more you will carry that. We just want you to feel this manifestation that is affected by the vortex. We want you to leave here knowing that there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. We want you to know that you have come here to manifest, and that you've come here to manifest delicious and wonderful things. And we want you to know that the manifestations are all queued up. They're ready for you to rendezvous with them, but that you have to get into the vortex first, and then the inspiration will come. We want you to know that the vortex is where your inner being is, and where the vibrational essence of all things that you want resides. And we want you to know that the cooperative components have already been assembled, and that just your understanding that the vortex exists, your acceptance that this that you want is there within it, and your willingness to feel your way in, feel your way in, feel your way in, even if it isn't easy. You're going to watch the power of creation, the energy that creates worlds, the energy that flows through the fingertips of your clay moving mind. We want you to watch the demonstration of what those who don't understand will call miracles, of those who do understand will call deliberate creation. We want you to enjoy the hands-on creating from inside the vortex. This is the funny circular thing that we're ready to say to you finally. We want you to not care about the manifestation so you can get better manifestations. That's sort of where everyone is. So, okay, I get it, Abraham. I have to ignore these manifestations, trusting that I put all kinds of good stuff in my vortex that I can't get to as long as I'm looking at these manifestations. But if I can get into the vortex, then the vortex will affect the manifestations. So what are we saying? What we're saying is you're supposed to have really good manifestations. We're saying it's perfectly brilliant and wonderful to look at everything that is pleasing you and use it as your basis of vibration. We're not trying to separate you from your reality, from your manifested reality. We're trying to help you create a pleasing manifested reality. So what are we really saying? Just don't look at the stuff that doesn't feel good. When you look into what is, and you're looking at the birds, and you're looking at the ocean, and you're looking at the beautiful sky, and you're looking at the magnificent world you are living in, and you're looking at the beautiful people, and looking at the beautiful children, and listening to the comedy and the music and all of the wonderful things that surround you, you're looking at manifestations, and you're utilizing manifestations to align you with the vortex. In other words, this is the thing that we really want you to hear. We're not off in Never Never Land. We're not sitting on the clouds with our feet dangling over the edge. We're not some nebulous mist. We are involved in every intricate detail of your delicious manifestations. That's why they feel so good to you. We're right there listening to your beautiful melodies, listening to the rapture in your heart. We're right there with you in your orgasms. We're right there with you in your taste buds when you're eating all of that delicious food. We're right there with you, right there with you, right there with you. We're not trying to get you to be other than this manifested genius out here on the leading edge that you are. We're not trying to separate you from that. We want you to be that. We just want you to spend less time in the contrasting parts that are depriving you then of the manifestation that is coming. Is that clear? Vortex first, then manifestation follows. Vortex first, then manifestation follows. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be milking our current reality for every delicious thing that we could focus upon. We would be making lists of positive aspects. We would be doing rampages of appreciation. We would be doing anything and everything that we could do to extract a keen awareness, a sharp, specific awareness in ourselves right here, right now, of the beauty of that which is. But if we find ourselves in a moment where the beauty isn't dominant, where the beauty isn't compelling, where the beauty isn't even seeable because of what we are focused upon, then we would not try to wring it from the manifestation. We would instead find our way into the vortex, the emotion of feeling, knowing that if you can do that, that the vortex will then give you immediately a more pleasing manifestation. And at first, the manifestation will be emotion. Next, it will be trains of thoughts will begin to come, ideas, inspiration. Next, it will be others collaborating. Next, it will be heaven and earth moving to accommodate you in whatever you want. In other words, there's no limit to the details that manifestations will bring. So that leads us to what we talked about just before segment of refreshment that we were really wanting to talk about. Because every moment that you are conscious, you have this abiding awareness, you cannot get away from it, of your relationship between who you really are and all that you've become and how much you're letting in. In other words, in every moment you're having a manifestational emotion, an emotion that is a manifestation in every moment. If you're bored, it's a manifestation and it's telling you about this relationship. If you're excited, it's a manifestation in this moment that's telling you about this relationship. If you're fearful, it's a manifestation that's telling you about this relationship. In other words, you can't stop having a feeling, can you? Isn't something that you say constantly how I feel? Well, I feel this or I feel that. Aren't you aware of how you feel? I feel tired. I feel happy. I feel bored. I feel hungry. Well, hungry, that's a little different. I feel these emotions. I feel all day long. I feel bored at work. I feel uninspired at work. I feel inspired. I feel happy. I feel happy in talking to you. I feel unhappy in talking to you. I feel frustrated in this conversation. I feel exhilarated in this conversation. I feel. You do. You're feeling. You're having those feeling manifestations all day, every day. All day, every moment that you are conscious, you're having this awareness of this relationship, this vibrational relationship. So when you get it, that this manifestation is happening constantly and that you have much more leeway and latitude in how you feel than just observing what is, now you've got it. Now you're free.